You got like $3 million. Huh. Yeah, we're already building a fancy house for us. Got my dream kitchen planned. My mother-in-law says, all dreamy like. I've quit my job. Done to start a business with Ashley's inheritance. My husband says, looking way too happy about it. Wait a sec. Ashley didn't get any inheritance yet. You're quitting your job and building stuff already. What's the deal? Let's not FIP here. It's obvious you got money. How about we take a trip before jumping into this house thing? Hawaii, maybe. My father-in-law adds, making things even more confusing. What are they even thinking? They want to spend the money I got from my mom on whatever they want. I'm mad as heck, but I don't know what to do. A few months back, let me take you there. My name's Ashley. I'm 38, and I teach at a high school. I've been married to David for 12 years. He's 2 years older and works in an office. Right after we tied the knot, our daughter Julie came along, and ever since, my life's been a whirlwind of work and raising her. Today, we're off to see my mom at the hospital. Hey, Grandma, it's been a bit. Ah, Julie dear, come here, my mom says gently, running her fingers through Julie's hair. She looks thinner and her face isn't as lively. There's this guy in a suit standing by her bed. He nods as I glance his way and then leaves. Mom, who's that guy? Just someone I know. Nothing to worry about. How are you holding up, Ashley? And David, is he doing okay? My mom's eyes, a soft shade of blue, twinkle as she smiles. She met my dad when he was in the import-export business overseas, and she moved to the U.S. to marry him. Raising a kid in a new country couldn't have been easy, but they did it together. Mom taught me a lot growing up, which is why I'm able to teach now. I'm really grateful to my parents for giving me such a good upbringing. Dad passed away a few years back, and since then, Mom's been on her own, dealing with illness and hospital stays. She handed off the business to a relative and now spends her days quietly in the hospital. I'm good, Mom. Anything you need. Just having you and Julie here is more than enough. After chatting with Mom for a while, Julie and I head home. Julie fills Mom in on school stuff and the latest book she's read. She's 10, a tricky age, but we get along well. Even setting aside my mom goggles, I think she's a smart, honest kid who's growing up nicely. We're back. Hey, welcome back. How's my mom doing? David asks when we walk in. Same old, same old. And you? How is your seminar? Heard good things about it. Excited for the next one. Lately, Dave's been going to seminars about quitting his job and starting a side hustle. Seems like he's after more money, but his job's not bad, and we're doing fine with my income. I don't like how obsessed he is with money. Probably gets it from his parents. They've always been tight with cash, always asking for small amounts whenever we see them. They've never bothered with Christmas gifts for Julie either. Thankfully, they live far away, so we don't see them much. David helps out around the house, though, so it's manageable. As long as I've got my mom, David, Julie, and our simple life, unhappy. Then one day, I got a call from the hospital. Mom's condition had taken a turn for the worse, and she was in critical condition. When we reached the hospital, my mom was barely hanging on. Mom, Grandma Ashley, I've always wanted you to be happy. Take care of Julie. She means everything. I love you. Those were her final words. My mom, who poured her heart into raising me alongside my dad, who cherished Julie more than anything. Seeing her peaceful face in the coffin, all I could do was cry. Julie stood by me, crying too. A while after Mom passed, an envelope arrived from a law firm. Ashley opened it, puzzled by the unfamiliar sender. Inside was a document. "I've been given your mother's will, leaving everything to you, Ashley." Ashley and her mom never talked about inheritance, so she was surprised. But with the letter in hand, she decided to visit the law firm alone. "Hi, I'm Ed," the attorney said, the man with glasses, the same one from the hospital room. "You were there when I visited my mom," Ashley said, recognizing him. "Yeah, we met there. Your mom entrusted me with something," Ed said gently, almost bringing Ashley to tears. "$500 million," Ashley exclaimed in shock. "Yeah, Ashley. When your dad passed, you let your mom have all the inheritance. Now, with what she had and what she left you, after taxes, that's the sum," Ed explained. "I knew my parents were well off, but I never asked for money after getting married, and I avoided talking about inheritance. It's overwhelming," Ashley said, feeling a bit dizzy. "But it's a sign of love from my mom. I'll leave it to you, Ed. Your mom cared about you more than anything. She asked me to assist you if needed. You can talk to me about anything," Ed said. "Thank you. I really appreciate it." Ashley nodded to Ed and left the room. As time went by, nearing her mother's 49th day memorial, David, her husband, started bringing up her mother's inheritance often. He knew they were wealthy when they married, but Ashley found his constant probing uncomfortable, especially during her mourning period. Whenever she asked him to stop, he would, but then subtly brought it up again later. And then there were her in-laws. At her mother's memorial, her father-in-law offered Ashley, "If you're worried about the inheritance, we can help." "Huh. We've had our share of inheritance disputes. It can get complicated when unmarried siblings pass away. If you need help, we're here," her mother-in-law chimed in. "I'm sure," Ashley, who had never felt inclined to involve them before, could only offer a vague response as they pretended to understand. About 3 months after her mother's passing, David, who had been relatively quiet, finally reached his breaking point. "Have you gotten your mom's inheritance yet?" David's question sent a shiver down Ashley's spine. "Not yet," Ashley fibbed. "The process is complicated. It's been 3 months since she passed, right? Why the delay?" David pressed, but then abruptly announced he was heading to bed, leaving Ashley with a gnawing feeling in her chest. The next day, while Ashley and Julie were cleaning up after dinner, the doorbell rang. Julie rushed to answer it, and Ashley, peering out from the kitchen, saw her in-laws, along with David returning from work. "Why are they here?" Ashley whispered to Julie. "It's okay, Mom. I'll go to my room," Julie said, darting away nervously. "What's happening?" Ashley asked as her in-laws entered. "Never mind that, Ed," her father-in-law said cheerfully, grabbing a beer from the fridge. "We're here to celebrate. You inherited over $300 million. We've even started building a duplex for us all to live in, complete with your dream kitchen. Listen, Ashley, be happy," her mother-in-law chimed in dreamily. "We're planning to build a duplex. We've put down half of our savings and some money Mom and Dad saved up. The loan's in my name, but you can settle it all with your inheritance. It's a way to give back to them." Her father-in-law continued. "What? I quit my job. I'm starting a business with your inheritance," David announced, looking oddly pleased. "Wait a minute. What's going on? I haven't received any inheritance yet. And why are you quitting your job and talking about a duplex? Let's not play games. It's obvious you got an inheritance. How about we take a trip before diving into house plans? Maybe Hawaii." As chaos unfolds, did David and her mother-in-law seem to agree? With a mocking laugh, David said, "You're being miserly, Ashley. We checked it out because you kept saying you hadn't received the inheritance. If you don't process it within 3 months, you can't refuse it. So, whether you told the truth or not, you've inherited, right? Considering my father-in-law's company, it must be more than $300 million. We'll live comfortably thanks to them. Thanks, Mom. Make sure to arrange money for the duplex and my capital." Hearing David speak like that left her feeling lightheaded. But what kind of people are these? Wanting to use my precious inheritance from my mom as they please, indulging in luxury. I was burning with anger, but I couldn't speak. I worried about Julie, who was in the other room. "I'm stepping out for a bit." I called out to them, but they were too engrossed in discussing their plans for the inheritance. I left without even grabbing my wallet. The night air was brisk, and as I reached a familiar hilltop park, the tears started flowing. I cried silently, feeling the weight of frustration and exploitation. My emotions were a jumble, but I couldn't bring myself to mention divorce now, with Julie still in the picture. My mother's words echoed in my mind. Take care of Julie above all else. And I cried anew. Suddenly, someone approached me. Startled, I looked up, and they began speaking softly. 3 days later, I called my husband and in-laws to a restaurant with private rooms. "So, you're back home after that day. Did you withdraw the money, Ashley? You shouldn't leave without telling your husband." Ignoring their words, I handed them a document, a filled-out divorce notice. "David, I want a divorce." "What? What's this?" David's panic was palpable, and my in-laws exchanged worried glances. "I can't continue like this. I'm done," I replied firmly, facing David's escalating anger. "You're leaving us just because you got the inheritance. You've become so greedy," Ashley retorted. "Ever since I inherited from my mom, you've been out of control, quitting jobs, planning to live with your parents without consulting me, using my savings to build a house, and now planning trips. Who's the one who changed when the money came? I can't stay with people like this. Andy can't just divorce me out of nowhere. That's right. Half of everything it is David's, including our savings, and half of the inheritance." David and my in-laws barked as they closed in on me. Just as I was about to respond, the door opened, revealing Julie and Attorney Ed. "Dad, Grandpa, Grandma, you should know better. Mom's inheritance isn't shared property." "Right. Mr. Ed?" "I'm Attorney Ed. Ashley's mom entrusted me with this matter, and I've been advising her," Ed explained with a bow, leaving David flustered. "But wait, inherited property isn't shared. It's not subject to division," he clarified. "What? That can't be right. Is this a mistake?" David stuttered. "That can't be." I was stunned by the reaction. It seemed they genuinely believed they were entitled to my inheritance. If that's the case, it's even more reason not to divorce. I'll stick by you no matter what." My husband shouted with bloodshot eyes, disregarding everything. "Stop it," Julie intervened calmly. "Since Mom inherited, Dad hasn't thought about her once. Grandpa and Grandma only care about money. They never even mention me. I can't see them as family. David and my in-laws were taken aback. When I was upset about the inheritance, Julie spoke up. She told me Dad, Grandpa, and Grandma are wrong. They're trying to take Grandma's legacy. Mom, I'm with you. Let's fight this together." With those words, I made a decision, contacted Ed, and arranged this meeting. "Julie, that's not true. Dad wants what's best for you, and you'd be happier with us, wouldn't you?" My husband and in-laws pleaded desperately. "Children shouldn't interfere," they added. Julie, with a look of frustration, said, "I'm going with Mom. I can't stay with you anymore," and turned away. "We've made our decision. Julie and I will leave," I said calmly, which angered David. "I've never cheated, and you can't force a divorce. I'll get a lawyer. We'll get that money," he threatened. "Then I'll handle it from here." Ed intervened quietly. "The crux here is whether there are serious grounds for ending the marriage, quitting his job, using our savings without consent, making decisions unilaterally, and Julie expressing her distress. We have multiple arguments to support our case. Additionally, your daughter has recorded evidence of all of you pressuring Ashley for her inheritance. That should serve as compelling evidence." David slumped, and my in-laws went pale. After that, Julie and I left the restaurant. A year later, thanks to Ed's efforts, my divorce with David was finalized. Julie and I moved into my mother's old house, but we received numerous letters pleading for reconciliation, and David was spotted near Julie's school, prompting us to seek a restraining order with Ed's help. After that, things quieted down. Rumor has it they did build a duplex. My retired in-laws had to find jobs at a factory, and despite David's attempts, he ended up doing manual labor. According to neighbors, their new home was rife with constant arguments, making them unpopular in the neighborhood. Julie and I continue to live peacefully, supporting each other. Recently, Julie expressed a desire to study abroad in my mother's homeland to sever ties completely with my ex-husband. We decided to move overseas using a portion of my mother's inheritance. I'm certain she would approve. Julie seems to thrive in her new school, and I found work as a teacher there. Here's hoping these tranquil days persist. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more interested stories.